Hi, this is Paulie from the Main Street Market Exchange. This is number 11 of the 12 short videos that I told you that I produce. That's on the library section. You can look at this sheet in the library section of our website to show how folks can participate or work with or deal with or benefit from the Main Street Market Exchange. In this particular video, number 11 has to deal with Wall Street and banks. And an overriding thing or things that I'd like you to consider here with Wall Street and banks are gratitude and reciprocity. You know, whenever I speak to anyone about the Main Street Market Exchange, I always start out by asking three basic questions. And those three basic questions are this. Do you believe that we out here on Main Street ought to have an investment matching marketplace that serves us, just like Wall Street has an investment matching marketplace that serves it? The second question I ask, do you often believe that a lot of the times, all the folks with all the money and the power and the influence, that they tend to do things that benefit them without a lot of regard for how it affects the rest of us out here on Main Street? And the third question I ask is, do you believe that every one of us, each American, from the poorest of the poor to the most rich person in America, every American ought to have access to the American financial dream in a real and a concrete way? Now, invariably, whenever I ask those three questions, I always get folks to say yes, yes, yes. They're pretty easy questions unless you really just don't like America. Now, I'm going to break this video down into basically two quick parts. The first part's going to be on Wall Street, and the second part's going to be on banks. Now, the message for each is relatively the same, but there are a few distinctive elements that differentiate the message for each. So that's why I'm breaking them down into two different parts real quick. Let's start out with Wall Street. We at the Main Street Market Exchange, we want to work with Wall Street, and we want Wall Street to work with us. Quite honestly, we'd like Wall Street to show some gratitude and reciprocal thinking for all that Main Street does for Wall Street. Now, you might say, Paulie, what do you mean? You know, Wall Street does not exist without Main Street. You know, think of a raging river. Think of the most raging river you can think of, and that's really what all the Main Street. That's what all the Main Street's community's money is all about. All the different communities all over America, they put their money in, and it flows into the Wall Street investment world every day. And Wall Street takes all of our money, and they derivatize it and short it and margin call it and trade it and all the different things, and they get rich off all of our money every day. And that's fine, but we think we'd like a little bit of gratitude out here on Main Street for that. Additionally, when Wall Street takes all of our money, we'd really like them to invest back into us the same way that we invest into them every single day. And we'd like them to reciprocate, not just to sell us products or lend us money or take advantage of us, but we'd like them to reciprocate and direct some of that investment money back into us out here on Main Street. That sounds fair, doesn't it? Now, there are many, many really, really fine people that work up on Wall Street with lots of money, and they can help us. But unfortunately, there's a lot of folks up on Wall Street that are very condescending and very dismissive and cheap. Now, I've called on Wall Street CEOs, and they don't even really want to take the call, and that's cool. I understand that, but those days are over. We'd like here on Main Street to get a little bit of respect. And we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep calling on you up on Wall Street to try to wake you up a little bit, to say, hey, you know what, this guy's right. We should reciprocate. We're going to develop plans out here on Main Street, and we have some in the works. And we want Wall Street to step up and pay attention. You know, how about plans all over the country, but just like the initial one to renovate 3 blocks of very blighted neighborhoods, say in Baltimore, Camden. Let's renovate 3 blocks, and then with those 3 blocks, those folks that are living there, let's develop 50 plans. I'll tell you what, I could get 50 plans in 2 days where people want to do stuff and they want to be invested in. Let's do something outside the box. Or how about a plan to do a quasi like SPAC fund where we set up, where you guys set up, you got tons of money, you set up a fund to fund 50 plans from Main Street at about $25,000 a piece on average. So you can actually fund and invest in folks just like folks all over America invest in Wall Street every day. I mean, what's fair is fair, isn't that right? Or how about a Wall Street plan platform to integrate and cooperate with our Main Street Market Exchange platform so that we can bundle lots of plans and we can use your expertise. There's a lot of smart guys and gals up there on Wall Street that could help us if you want to. You know, the list is endless, but I think the days of us just being, dismissed as goofballs out here on Main Street are over. We want some attention. Now, we're not going to chain ourselves to your corporate front doors or spread cow's blood on your front steps of your offices or bring a guillotine outside your chief executive officer's home like they did with Jeff Bezos. That was just flat out wrong. But we are going to demand that you listen to us and acknowledge us a little more and just don't dismiss us. So Wall Street, what about dealing with Main Street? For banks, there's roughly 5,200 commercial banks in the country. And they're a mix of that same attitude that Wall Street has for Main Street. And I don't know why. Now, there are fine bankers, a lot of fine bankers. But unfortunately, there are a lot of, again, condescending, dismissive, and cheap bankers that it's a one-way street. In other words, Main Street invests and gives the bankers all their business and all makes it possible for banks to function, but banks generally don't reciprocate. All banks have what's called CRA initiatives and CRA-related bank officers that are in charge of those CRA initiatives. And CRA is basically Community Reinvestment Act. Community Reinvestment Act. It stands for that. And the banks, not by law, but by their own words, need to reinvest in communities. But they got to do a much, much, much better job. And I'll bet you a lot of honest bankers would tell you the same thing. But, how about a proactive way to say, sponsor live boot camps from the Main Street Market Exchange in your area to both your employees and or some clients that you have? How about sponsoring webinars and seminars for those same folks to try to talk about different things, to be able to say solicit mentors, real mentors to help folks out with their plans, real experienced mentors? Or how about sponsoring or developing some real innovative small business products? I'm talking real innovative, not just a checking account and a savings account. And there's ways to do that to help the small business person. When I owned and operated my own executive search company, it took a year while I was doing it at night. It took me a year to develop the best small business banker course for branch managers and small business lenders that there is. It's an online course. It's 15 sessions. The branch managers and the small business lenders take it at home, at their leisure, depending on the way you as a senior executive would want them to take it. Maybe one or two sessions a week. And it's really cool. No homework, no exams, no projects or whatever. Just really cool information that help branch managers and small business lenders. I've been told that it's I've sold it to banks, and they've told it's just a phenomenal tool. And I know it is because it just is. It's from experience. I really got to the meat and potatoes. But how about doing some of these initiatives with the Main Street Market Exchange, and I'll give you the course for your branch managers and small business lenders. We can talk about a million different ways that we can do things, but I guess the real thing is, hey, Main Street's here, and we're going to knock on the door, and it's not just a one-way street anymore. It's not, here's your loan products, take it or leave it, and we don't invest back in you. So lend me your ear for a moment, if you would. And listen to what we have to say out here, and you'll see that it can be a really good relationship between the two of us. Wall Street and bankers, we want to work with you in a real and a concrete way to help Americans succeed. And I hope you feel the same way. So God bless, and what do you want to do? Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.